Today's episode of Fantasy Fiction is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/fantasyfiction.
Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, whatever that is. Today we're recommending The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is a story both Reeses and I enjoy.
And it coincides with the fantasy theme.
So if you're enjoying the podcast, give the free trial a chance. It'll help pay for some of the hosting. I'm not sure what that is.
Quick, download it before the movie comes out, post haste.
Enjoy the episode!
Welcome, travelers, to another episode of Fantasy Fiction. This week's prompt is very spooky and scary. It is fairies.
From another realm. It's the fairies. If you guys can't tell, Josh is a little under the weather.
I'm sick, so here we go.
Let's travel to a land where you are not sick in fantasy fiction. Welcome to the episode, guys. My name is Dominic.
I'm Josh.
If you couldn't tell already, Josh.
Yo,
what did you do this week? I want to know.
I got sick, so that was cool. But I watched a lot of movies because of this.
Oh, okay.
So I watched
that's pretty good.
a lot of Disney movies because I was getting ready for the Fairies episode that we're doing today. So I watched The Sword and the Stone. Doesn't have a fairy in it, but I love that movie.
Doesn't have a fairy in it, although it is rad.
It is rad.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember being a little attracted to the female
girl squirrel. Yeah. Girl squirrel is hot. Girl squirrel is a redhead, so.
I remember being a child and being like, yeah, hey, maybe that squirrel will be my girlfriend one day.
Maybe Merlin will turn me into a squirrel and I'll get to fuck a squirrel. Maybe.
What other movies did you watch?
I watched the Robin Hood movie, which is great. Also.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And I watched a lot of survival shows because I'm into that now apparently. So
who isn't these days?
Yeah, right? What did you do? What did you get sick?
Well, I went to medieval times.
Oh my god, I saw pictures and I was super jealous.
Well, don't be, because I had a spare rib thrown at my vintage Philadelphia Phillies windbreaker. Also, I asked for silverware because I am not a savage.
That's true.
I do not eat with my hands. I have a thing about my hands.
Yeah.
Don't get greasy food all over them.
I'm the same way. I can't touch greasy food.
Stand it when my hands are dirty or something. I cannot stand it, so I wouldn't be able to deal. So I always ask,
who threw the chicken, or who threw the rib?
Oh, he threw a spare rib. Yeah, the guy behind me was serving up spare ribs to the thing behind me, and then just one went flying and hit my back, and he was like, did that get you? Sorry, dude. And I was like, yeah, it did.
Illusion shattered. Hey, bro, hang loose.
Well, so I clean off my jacket with some wet naps, which is a funny thing because they're like, well, it is medieval times and you must use your hands because silverware was not invented, which it was. People had knives.
Silver,
they had swords, they had knives,
right.
Okay?
Right.
So they're like, you use your hands. And then they're like, now that you've used your hands, you may clean them with a wet nap. Definitely from medieval times era.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's bullshit. So anyway, went to medieval times, and the best part was at the end when the guy went, You've all been gracious guests, the best guests ever. And then they go, we hope that you'll return to medieval times. They say that. Yeah. He screams that. When he started yelling that, the horse shit, and then he ran away, and the horse was shitting as he ran away.
Dude, worst medieval times experience.
It was pretty bad, but our knight won, and that was pretty
Who did
cool.
you have?
The blue knight, and
Okay.
he was the only Asian knight.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's good. How progressive.
that's what Ike said.
An Asian medieval knight in Europe.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
It was really cool. And then I also spent a lot of time this week watching some wrestling videos because there's a ton of wrestling stuff on YouTube that you can just watch on your PS3 like I do. And my buddy Aubrey showed me Bruiser Brody, who is he was like a big independent kind of wrestler throughout the 80s. And he's awesome. And he comes out swinging a chain and hitting people with this chain in Japan, not giving a fuck. And he comes out to a like knockoff version of Immigrant Song, but instead of vocals, there's just like horns blaring the same thing. So yeah, exactly. It's really awesome. If you are a fan of wrestling, you don't know who Bruiser Brody is, go and look it up. It's really awesome. Glad that was shown to me. But with that said, Josh,
Let's go.
what do you say we travel to a fantasy land
Let's do it.
with fairies?
Fairies.
Now we are ready! We hope you return to Fairy Times!
Ready, Dom?
Oh, you know I'm ready.
My story is called A Very Happy Engagement.
Oh, well, this sounds like a pleasant fairy tale. I'm very interested.
Sounds like a pleasant tale. All right, here we go. Princess Axewound sat in her chamber, sullen and depressed as shit.
That is the worst name for a princess.
It's a very
it's a great name that you wrote it, but it is a most unfortunate name.
Yeah, right. It's a family name too, which is terrible luck. As her maiden brushed her hair with a merc monk's ribcage, Princess Axewound let out a sigh. "Handmaiden, whatever your name is, I do not wish to marry," she said earnestly. "I still have like 10 good years of getting buck-ass wild, twerking with my nasty bits, and giving unsolicited BJs to the prisoners who are locked up in the town square stockades," she went on.
That is quite the plot.
Right?
For a one of those X-rated scrolls.
Just like some dude like locked up and she's just sucking him off.
Oh, we forgot to tell you, this is fantasy fiction.
Fiction with 3 X's. Oh, shit. Handmaiden, whatever her name is, continued combing inside. Suddenly, a giant fireball in the shape of the Van Halen symbol flew through the window and hit the handmaiden, turning her into a pile of ash, and then the pile of ash did a jump kick. The flame stopped and began to transmogrify and collapse in on itself. Where it once stood, now stood one of the greatest wizards in all of Daranos, Ugla the female wizard.
Oh no, it's Ugla.
It's Ugla.
Our friend.
"I am Ugla, chief wizard of Daranos and greatest of all the Daranosian sorcerers," she boomed. Princess Axewound was stunned. She sat there as the comb slowly fell out of her hair, hit the ground, and ran scurrying out the window into a nearby tree.
Ew, it was a lie.
I guess. Apparently. "I've been watching you, princess," Ugla went on, "and I do not like what I see. A young, strong woman as yourself should be out adventuring, not sitting here bemoaning her station. Master Wizard, I know, but what can I do? I am to be auctioned off to the highest bidder like a piece of meat to a suitor and become his wife meat." Axewound said as she began to sob. "What you need, girl, is a makeover," Ugla yelled. "And I know just who can help." Ugla began to wave her wand around and say some cool magic words that sounded like David Lee Roth lyrics. Shoobada boobity bop. Suddenly a portal to another realm opened, and out came a tiny winged fairy. She was about 6 inches tall and had the hugest fairy tits. I'm talking 2 thimbles full. Hi, my name is Titselleaf, and I'll be your makeover fairy. Ugla tells me you need an adventure makeover.
Her name is Titselleaf?
Yeah. The fairy, Titselleaf the fairy.
It's canon.
It's canon. Axe Wound was again stunned. She had never seen a fairy before, and mostly because of the whole huge boobs thing. I mean, how could she even fly with those yams weighing her down? Like half a handful, man. Okay, so we're all set here, ugly ass? Just then, a car horn from the General Lee echoed through the chamber. It was Sid the Rogue outside an Ugla's steam-powered horseless hot rod. Coming, baby, she yelled, and then teleported instantly into the car, turned up the radio, which was playing Dance the Night Away, and peeled out in the wizard space. Ugla's on a Van Halen kick. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, she just went into wizard space.
Which is fucking crazy.
What the fuck? I'm stunned.
It's canon.
Oh my god.
It's canon.
It is canon, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so first we need to get you some new gear for your makeover. You keep saying that. Please stop. First, what we need to do is go to this lake. There's some ancient and buried whatever the fuck that Ugla wants you to have. I don't know. I think lakes are kind of gross unless we're talking about Havasu, baby. Then Titzel flashed her giant pixie tits. Like Havasu, man.
Gotcha.
A handmaiden walked into the room and burst into flames at the sight of the giant miniature-sized sweater hounds. A janitor would later sweep up her ashes for a wage unsuitable for anyone to make a living off of. Makeover! Titzel yelled.
Oh my god.
This bitch is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Soon they arrived at an ancient and murky lake. The waters were dark but calm. An eerie, jizzy mist floated above the lake as a single crow could be heard in the distance.
I think you've used jizz mist before, right?
Yeah, I use jizz mist a lot. It's canon.
You know what it is, guys. You know.
It's canon. Okay, so I can cast a breathing spell on you, but it will only last for 5 minutes. We need to go down there and find wherever the shit you're supposed to find. I don't know, self-respect or something. Titzel cast the spell, and they waded into the dark waters. They sank and sank as the water became pitch black. Up ahead, Axwoon could see something glowing. She pointed toward it, and she and Titzel swam over. When they reached the source of light, Axwoon could see a large broadsword buried inside of an anvil with statues of mermaids encircling the area. Titzel made a jerking off motion with her hands. Axwoon was confused. Titzel sighed and pointed at the sword and made a more exaggerated jerking off motion with both of her hands. Axwoon was still confused. Pull the fucking sword out of the stone, you dumb chapped ass cunt! Titzel yelled. Impatient fairy.
I'll say so. Also, I see the influence.
Yeah, right? I wrote half of this crazy high on NyQuil. Axwoon swam over to the sword and gripped it with both hands. She began to pull it out of the anvil when suddenly the mermaid statues all began to crumble. Inside were demon mermaids with gross-ass saggy fish tits, and they were fucking pissed.
No.
They swarmed toward Axwoon, but she pulled out the sword and held it high. One stupid-ass mermaid ran into it and cut itself right the hell in half and gave itself a high five.
As it swam away as two beings, or died, or went to its grave.
It was swimming away. Yeah, and just high-fived itself. That's a pretty cool way to go.
Yeah, sure, why not? I think that if we're gonna go.
Axwoon swung the sword and killed 30 mermaids. Their blood made the dark waters a deep red, like they were all in their periods, but their periods were coming out of their heads and necks and shit. Finally, the remaining mermaids all dogpiled on top of Axwoon. She couldn't breathe. Her spell was wearing off. She began to fade when with one final thrust she held the sword up high. A lightning bolt streaked through the water and hit the sword while the craziest guitar solo ever heard blared through the water.
Whoa.
The mermaids covered their ears as the bloody water began to boil from the pure, awesome, sick fucking metal that was pumping through it. Suddenly, all the mermaids' tits exploded all at once, killing them instantly, and one's nasty titty ring floated by Titzel, but it was cool because she used it as a hula hoop.
Ew. It's so gross.
Axwoon and Titzel quickly swam upward toward air. Their spell had run out, and both were almost ready to inhale massive amounts of nasty tit water. When they reached the surface of the lake, they both took huge breaths. Makeover! Titzel. All right. Princess Axwoon soon found herself in her father's great mead hall with no less than 200 suitors gathered around to try to win her hand and make her their wife meet.
What an awful day.
It's terrible. I wouldn't want that. Titzel hovered close by while Axwoon hid the sword under the long banquet table. The first suitor came up to the table. Darling, this is Pervy Jerry, King Axwoon began. He fucks old hollowed-out candlesticks. Axwoon...
Pervy Jerry.
Pervy Jerry. Axwoon almost barfed as she gripped the sword tighter. Soon another suitor swaggered his way up to the banquet table. Darling, this is Prince Hammerfist. He is heir to the orc fortunes of Daranos, but... The king paused. I think he has like 8 dicks. The princess raised an eyebrow, but there was no way she was ready for 8 dicks. Finally, another suitor came to the table. Darling, this is Captain Ironmast. He's an old boot with a mustache taped onto it. The princess had had enough of this fuckery. I've had enough of this fuckery, she screamed. She held the sword up high and summoned all of its crazy awesome power. Lightning again hit the sword, and the sickest double bass breakdown blared through the mead hall. The power continued to flow through the sword, and the bass hits were so hard and sick that they turned everyone in the mead hall into a rage demon.
Oh, no.
Axwound then stood atop the banquet table and cut off Pervy Jerry's head. It stood still in midair, eating a corn on the cob, while its body Frankenstein walked over toward the nearest candelabra and fucked its brains out.
Pervy Jerry, still going after all these years.
Axwound began murdering the newly transformed suitors at will. Finally, she relented and shouted, You're all my slaves now. I am queen here. Go forth, army of doom, and spread my vengeance. Queen Axwound sat in her father's chair, her arm propped on the sword. Titzel was horrified and quickly blinked back into the fairy realm.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, back in her alchemy lab, Ugla had seen the whole thing on her wizard ball. Titzel popped into the room. They both looked at each other for a second. That bitch is crazy? Finn.
Oh my god. So did she kill her dad too?
Dude, I don't know. But all of them are rage demons, and they're working for her now.
Oh my god. Why did they... That was a terrible idea. Don't make her get that magical sword of great powers.
Maybe they thought she was going to use it for
good.
good.
You'd be like, oh, with this sword, I'll go do some good. But no, she's PO'd.
She's crazy mad. She's upset. Man.
Yeah. Well, I would be too with the name Princess Axwound.
Right? You might want to get that changed. I mean,
yeah, she is Queen Axwound at the moment, but if I were her, I might change it. I don't know.
At this point, just go with it.
Just live it. Just bear it. Josh, are you prepared to go into Orcspire to hear the trial of John?
Yes.
Good. Deep inside the dark forest of Ografin, past the haunted mine, beyond the tainted lake, just after the twig town, but before the screaming horse skeleton that glows. If you pass the screaming horse skeleton that glows, you've gone too far. Make a U-turn at the acorn that kind of looks like two dogs Frenchin' and double back. But don't make a right at the rock that cries. That guy is depressing and will go on and on about his estranged wife. Woof. Just continue until you see a shanty village with a wooden sign that reads, Treeville.
Dude, I love like these directions are like directions like my grandfather gives people.
No street names, just monuments.
Just things that haven't existed for 30 years.
Yeah, it used to be something. It's something else now, but keep going. That's where the fairies of Orcspire live. All fairies in Orcspire are full-grown men with antennae who dress sexually to appeal to both sexes, but are in fact very foul creatures who stink, drip, drool, and don't even have sex.
That's the worst part about them.
It is. In fact, they don't even have sex organs. That's right. Just a fleshy mass of nothing down there. Yes, they reproduce, but I will spare you those details.
That's in like the Similarian of fairies.
Dude, they're super gross and they're all men. And they're just fucking tall as men just walking around fairy guys. They're weird. Fairies are dumb. They suck at magic. They have wings but can't fly. They can breathe underwater, but they don't like swimming. Fairy sucks dicks. Not literally.
Right, because they don't have sex.
They don't have sex.
Yeah.
Just outside of Treeville, one fairy stood atop a tree stump and shouted, "Welcome to Treeville! Now the song of all people!" and began to sing, "Oh my honey, honey, oh my little sweetheart, oh my muffin dumpling, oh my little butter, oh my sugar flip-flop, oh my black licorice, oh my butternut squash, oh my buttitis, I have buttitis." And with that, a monstrous blood raven swooped down and swallowed the fairy whole, then contracted buttitis, had a butt attack, and died.
Had a butt attack. Oh my god.
May he be remembered forever. The raven, that is. The fairy can go fuck himself. That was not the song of his people.
Dude, you hate fairies.
Dude, I just want to let people know that fairy did not represent all the fairies in the land.
I got you.
In Treeville, all the fairies were going about their usual bullshit, just sitting around or doing something stupid that nobody was interested in. Except for one fairy named John, who was practicing his sword-swinging abilities on a low-hanging branch. Also, he does this nude. Also, fairies don't have butt cracks.
How do they... I was gonna say, how do they shit, but like...
They don't need to eat. They're fucking stupid.
I love that's the explanation. They're just fucking stupid.
Of all the fairies, John was the worst smelling, which also made him the most brave due to some backwards fairy logic. Whenever something needed to be found, fetched, or forgotten, John was their fairy. Over time, John assumed the role as town defender. He was given the title Quest Man for his ability to go on quests by easily succumbing to peer pressure. Past adventures included Towel Quest, Find a Leaf Quest, Quest for the Magic Dirt Clod, Forgotten Quest of Times No One Could Remember, What's the Weather Like Outside Quest, Hold This for a Second Quest, and of course, Towel Quest 2, Quest for the Second Towel Quest.
Dude, Quest, what Forgotten Quest of Times that No One Could Remember? That's genius.
Dude, no one, they just don't remember that quest, but they know something happened. They're fucking stupid. For his service to the race of fairies, John had been awarded with a sword crafted from acorn shells, moss, frail bark, dried leaves, and various other foliage. The town named the weapon Butter, but had forgotten what it was for by the time the awards ceremony had come along. John later found the weapon in the trash and kept it with him ever since. Suddenly, Manius Fogleton, Chief Fairy, was heard shouting. Manius was known for his patchy beard and his eyebrows of unforgiving length. He called upon his people. "Come to my house, we have to talk!" he yelled as he ran around town for 3 hours. The town really isn't big, and each time Manius yelled, everyone in the town could hear it. If anyone but the fairies had been around, they would find it very annoying. Several days later, the entire town gathered in a hollowed log, where Manius had been waiting. He meant to say the hollowed log instead of my house, but never bothered to correct his mistake. Manius stood and spoke. "The time has come for the fairy race to prove its worth to the land of Orcspire," said Manius. "I was just out eating dirt and realized that I haven't told anybody what to do in a while, so that's when I decided that the fairies shall retrieve the magical glass of far-seeing from the beast."
You're just out eating dirt?
Yeah, some dumbass fairy.
Fucking fairies.
During Manius's speech, several fairies decided life was boring and passed away.
They just gave up.
They just had it.
They're like, now is as good a time as any.
No one cared. Manius continued. "Our champion will take with him this set of clues and venture into the beast's lair, slay him, and return with magic treasure." The beast was a monster who lived within the forest, often called the Best due to a common typo. Manius continued. "John the Questman shall embark on this quest because it's a quest that requires a man of questing natures. Prepare the ceremonious outfit of questing," yelled Manius. Two super gross and super hairy fairies stripped John of his normal sexy clothes he was dressed in, and dressed him in a blue sequin robe with a very high collar with the words "Bad boy so sorry" written on the back in white.
Bad boy so sorry. Oh my god.
The men ceremoniously lit some of the town on fire, and John was on his way. Not long into his journey, John came across the sign that read, "The Best." Then Best was crossed out, and written on the side was Beast, with an arrow pointing. John followed it to the cave. The wind blew. John could hear something huge moving inside. John was frightened. From Treeville, Manius Fogleton used his sucky magical peer pressure. "You gotta go in there, John," he said in John's brain. His voice changes, apparently.
Well, peer pressure voice is a little different.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
"You want to be the coolest fairy? You want to prove to the rest of Orcspire that the fairies are disgusting, mutated, strange-behaving foul creatures that are also redeemable? Come on, John," he said, followed by Manius audibly chewing on a dish towel. John had no choice. His people needed him. He walked into the cave. "I gotta find this magical item for my town," thought John. "This is all on me. I just have to keep a clear head and follow the clues." John reached into his very short shorts, where if he had a dag, you could definitely see some dag tip, and withdrew a note. He read it aloud. Clue 1, tables. Clue 2, I'm so hungry. Clue 3, but... Damn it, these aren't clues! He threw the note on the ground. It's just more nonsense like the rest of our existence. In John's frustration, he had a moment of clarity. "We fairies are useless," he yelled. "And we suck, and we blow, and we're redundant. I don't even have a GD thick one. What's the point of this crap?" Suddenly, John heard something in the cave. It grew louder and louder. It was coming for him. What sounded like 700 lightning steeds barreling down Blood Mountain rounded the corner. There he was, the Beast, a.k.a. the Best, and he was just as the legends told. covered in brown fur, 7 yellow eyes with red pupils, 4 arms with claws as sharp as swords, and a tiny human's helmet on that read, Wizard Temple University, class trip to the Pain Mines, number 34 written on it.
Oh my god.
In his hands, he held a wicked guitar, which he soloed on, and lightning shot out of it and caught some of the cave on fire.
A lot of lightning and guitar solos this week.
A lot of that. Yeah, I figure those are 2 go-tos to make a fairy story a little bit more exciting.
Right.
The beast screamed and ripped another sick solo, which, if John had a wiener, would have shot off like a rocket at the pure awesomeness that was the beast. John swung butter at the beast, and it instantaneously broke into several thousand pieces. The beast stopped wailing on his guitar, looked down at the broken sword, and then at John. He spoke. Come on, bro, why you gotta hit me with forest trash? I just cleaned this place. John was taken back. Still scared, he spoke. I'm here to slay you, beast! And he kicked the beast. Ooh, dude, don't touch me with your gross-ass weird feet, stomping around that dirty forest all day. The beast wiped himself off. Come on, man, get out of here if you're gonna be a jerk, he added.
Dude, he's so nice.
He's a nice guy. So you're not gonna eat me, spoke John? Check it out, dude, I'm a vegetarian, always have been, said the beast as he tuned his guitar. I don't trust you, John yelled back. What'd a bad guy do? This? Said the beast, and he played every one of Holland Orc's smooth listening hits just for John. It was a very, very nice gesture. The beast went on to chat with John about his problems and let him vent his frustrations with his people. This made John feel a lot better, and he could tell that the beast was really the best guy in Orcspire.
That's so sweet.
Well, look, John began to admit, I was sent here to retrieve the magical glass of far-seeing from you. The magical glass of far... Oh, you must mean my badonkulars, said the beast as he withdrew a pair of binoculars.
Best name for binoculars ever.
I use them to check out big old butts. He raised his eyebrows continuously for several minutes until John finally got what he was saying. That's them, shouted John.
Oh my god.
But, I can't let you have them. I, need them for, research, yeah. I can't go back to my people empty-handed, countered John. The beast looked for something. Here, he said, spotting a towel. Bring this to your people. Tell them it's a magical unwetter or something. I don't know. Fairies are pretty dumb.
Magical unwetter.
John gasped. Towel Quest 3! He shouted and grabbed the towel and sprinted home. He returned to Treeville, holding the towel high. There was much rejoicing, and more of Treeville was set ablaze in celebration. The race of fairies would die out of sheer boredom weeks later. The end.
Weeks later. I like to picture... First of all, that was a great story.
Thank you.
I like to picture that he went on that same quest, each of those quests. Like, each time he went on Towel Quest was to the beast, but he's just so stupid that he fucking forgot.
You know, I think you might be onto something there, Josh. I think you might be.
That was a really good story, and I love the beast. I think the beast is going to get some love.
Dude, the beast is a nice guy, and he can play guitar.
Yeah, he rules. He's a great character. It's canon.
You know, I think it's canon. I think what I was trying to say in this story is that maybe in all our lives we have a little beasts that, you know, helps us out, you know?
Yeah, that's very, very true.
Why don't you guys think about that?
Da-na-na.
Tell them you love them. The holiday season's coming up. Well, hello there, travelers. Welcome to another edition of
Chamber of Knowledge.
Featuring yours truly, Snickerdoodle. I'm old Snickerdoodle.
I am Reeses. Don't you remember that, Snickerdoodle?
Well, let's just say that I was thinking about something magical and I was distracted. You know me and my magical
Understood.
items. Understood.
Roger that.
With that, I will say, first scroll, and I will read it. Let me just get it here.
Yes.
Crumple. First scroll comes from Lance Manstrong. Real name, I'm sure.
Very real.
Do either of you have any tattoos? And are they magic tattoos? Reese's?
Why yes, I have a magical unicorn tattoo on my back that has the spirit of the last unicorn trapped inside of it. It gets me mad stanky puss. Got it at Wizstock.
Wow. I don't think I've seen it. And, I don't want to see it because, frankly, I'm a little afraid I might come on to you.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't take my shirt off in front of you, Snickerdoodle.
Understandable and respected.
Roger that.
I have a tattoo of Reese's on my sack.
Oh.
It's kind of like if your picture were in the Wizard newspaper and I had some silly putty. I could stretch it out and make your face look real funny.
I would like to see that, Snickerdoodle.
Well, I can't show you right now because we are busy.
Did you ever take like a rubber band and like stretch it really far out and then write your name on it and then it gets all screwed up when you unstretch it? Is it kind of like that?
Well, let's just say my name is written on my member.
Oh,
so yeah, I've kind of done that before.
You went straight to the pros on that one. That's good.
Next scroll.
Next scroll is by Claire Daw. Best holiday spot in Daranos and Orcspire. Snickerdoodle.
Well, I imagine she's asking for a vacation spot.
Yes.
Not all of us call it holiday, but in Orcspire, the best holiday spot is Wacky Slide Mountain. It's a natural pool and wacky slide here in Orcspire. Although the water is kind of disgusting, but you can get a t-shirt that reads, I survived the doo-doo water of Wacky Slide Mountain.
The doo-doo water, Snickerdoodle. That's disgusting.
Well, hey, it's not my mountain. I just know about it.
I would like to go there. I would try it.
Yeah, well, good luck, sir.
In Daranos, it's the Caligula Falls. It's just like a waterfall, but it's like 1,000 hot, bone-hungry nudists just fucking each other over a cliff.
That sounds dangerous.
It's a great place. You can get over the jizz smell. You gotta get over the jizz smell, and then you're good to go.
That sounds like just a mass of fluids.
It's very not safe.
Next scroll. Next scroll comes from James Crow. He asks, what are the tourism taglines for Orcspire and Daranos? Reese's?
In Daranos, it's buy something or get the hell out.
I am familiar with that one. Believe me, I've toured there a couple times.
It's not very friendly.
It's not at all. In Orcspire, it isn't raining, that's blood. So,
that's beautiful. It's very descriptive.
So come one, come all. Next scroll.
Next scroll is from Alistair Perez. They ask, do you have any fun wizard games? For us, we have Ball in a Cup.
Are you kidding me? Wizard games?
Yes.
I ought to wizard dunk on your ass. You can't even begin to comprehend what kind of games we have for us wizards, exclusively for wizards. Why don't you go throw the ball around, you dingiest dongiest?
Unbelievable.
I can't. I don't usually get that mad.
It would take 37 years just to explain one of the rules of a wizard game. If you're not a wizard, you have no idea.
Here's a game, S&D. Next scroll. Matt Monia asks, what is the ideal first date for an orc chick asking for a friend? Reese's?
Well, I would say to your friend, find something to fill the other 7 holes.
Well, I don't know if that's a great date idea, but
I skipped a few steps there, Matt Monnier. So I mean, you might have to figure out how to get to that point.
Your friend. Might
your
have
friend.
To figure it
Sorry.
Out. I mean, I've been on hundreds of dates because I'm like the date king. So you got a question about a date, I got the answer about the dates.
Yes.
Yep. I've been on a lot of them, and.
You gonna answer his question, Snickerdoodle?
Well, he has to be more specific. I mean, I've been on so many dates.
Have you been on any dates at all, Snickerdoodle? Can you answer the question? Why won't you answer it? Just answer the question, Snickerdoodle.
My parents once took me out to a restaurant.
Snickerdoodle, that is not a date.
That is a date. We had it written on the moon calendar.
Snickerdoodle, he doesn't mean
that. Just shut up. I've kissed everyone. That's all the information you shall receive, and frankly, I think you may have received too much. So, until next time, peace out.
Good night, everybody.
Good God. They're trying to embarrass me in here.
It's okay, Snickerdoodle. We'll find you a date.
Who's screening these scrolls? I feel like an idiot.
I don't know.
Oh, the wizard ball is still on. Did you turn that off?
Oh, sorry.
You forgot to turn it off.
Sorry, Snickerdoodle. I mean, I'm sorry.
Good God.
All right, so that was more Chamber of Knowledge from Snickerdoodle and Reeses, who...
It may have been a little too much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They need to work on their I don't know. Is it called technical issues if it's run by magic? I don't know what you would call it.
They need to I think they need to work on their social. Like they should open up to each other. They're together all the time.
Yeah, I think
I
think either they need to work on that more or they need to work on it less. I'm not sure.
I'm unsure as well.
Thanks everybody for listening to another episode of Fantasy Fiction.
Thank you.
If you want to follow us on anything, like social media-wise, we have a million things. Check out the show notes.
Yes, there are plenty to follow us. That's where we ask for our prompts and where Reeses and Snickerdoodle ask their questions. So if you have a question, go ahead and do that. Or email us at fantasyficpod@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And again, Keep On Wizardin t-shirts are available at fantasyfiction.spreadshirt.com.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't yet, subscribe on iTunes. And if you have the time, submit a review.
Yeah.
It really helps out the show. That's how iTunes works its weird numbers game, I guess.
Yeah.
But, plenty of people have already, and it's really helped. And the more we get, the better off we are. The more we are validated. And the more Josh and I can continue our lives not hating ourselves.
Very true. Very true.
No, but thank you so much to everyone who has submitted a review already. And thank you for listening to the show. You guys are great.
Oh, what's our prompt for next week, Dom?
Oh, right. We have a prompt. We got it off of Twitter. It actually comes kind of from three people. At Freddy the Third, at Barnloaf, which is a good name, at ZD Thornton. They all kind of requested arena tournaments.
Yeah.
So next week, the prompt will be tournaments. So come and check it out. And until then,
keep on wizarding.
Keep on wizarding. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Thank you.